Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Kondaja here. Welcome back to Formula 1 2018. It is time for the Mexican Grand Prix. We have made it to Q2 today, and it has just started to rain. How many times have I said that this season? I feel like entirely too much. What does the weather look like? Seems like it's going to continue to be damp conditions with light rain, but then heavy rain towards the end. Heavy rain probably continuing through Q3. Well, this is all terrible, terrible news, because today we have a rather important qualifying session. If I get out-qualified by Kevin Magnussen in this race, I will lose my very first teammate challenge to him. And I don't want that. I really, really don't want that. So I'm going to try my best to put in a good lap here
There's
in the
only a
rain.
few cars out on track. We should consider getting out there. When you're ready, let's go.
I am ready. Let's go. I'm going to drive out, try to get a feel for the place in the rain, but I'm not terribly optimistic because A, I don't think I'm a very good driver in the rain, and B, these are the exact right conditions for the AI to absolutely dominate against me. Whenever the conditions are mixed, whenever it's like light rain, damp track, that kind of stuff, they seem to really be able to excel against little old me. Honestly, I worry that they are not being subjected to park from A at times. It seems like maybe they get a setup that is more based on the conditions. I am not sure entirely how the game is coded in that way. But yeah, the things that they are able to do in qualifying conditions in the rain is frankly staggering. Also, the whole hang-up situation. Oh yeah, it's real bad today too. So it looks like the stars are lined up against us here. We'll just have to see what we can do with it. The fact that this Sauber is all over me right now pretty much says to me that it's all over already. I don't think we have a glimmer of hope. We'll see. Alright. Getting ready to start our lap here. Fitting, I suppose, that it is a bit of a gloomy start to our race this weekend, as with the start of the real F1 season, we've had a little bit of a gloomy start. Anybody that's really into F1 or follows F1 probably already knows, but the unexpected loss of Charlie Whiting, who has been the F1 safety director for, well, the entire time that I've followed F1 for sure. Oh, jeez. Yeah, it's kind of shook the F1 community. It was one of those just so unexpected things. One of those people that you just always kind of pictured would always be there, would always be part of the sport. Oh, this is downright undrivable. I think we're screwed, guys. I think we're screwed.
Damage to your wing.
I'm giving it another shot, but I think we're just gonna have to bow out of Q2, lose our rivalry, and move on. I don't think there's any chance for me here. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, like I was saying, it's just it kind of feels similar to like losing Senna or in NASCAR losing Earnhardt. One of those things where you're just like, oh, that person, you know, they'll always be there. They're just, you know, they're untouchable. And it's one of those things that kind of just shocks everybody and reminds everybody of the frailness of the whole thing. Oh, buddy. So it'll be a tough weekend as we all kind of work through that, plus the nearby events that have taken place in New Zealand in relation to Australia. It's certainly a rather damp weekend to begin the season with. And the dampness continues on through here. But we must press on. I bet you I'm 5-6 seconds slower. Okay, 1.8, maybe 5.6 was too much, but where am I going to find these 1.8 seconds? And stay in this dry line a little bit better. A little bit there. Luckily the hang-up was after the turn. Apparently a good sector 1. It's these slow sections where our car isn't very good here to begin with. And then when you put the rain in there, it just gets really bad. Thing in the dry lane, that's really hurting. It is better. That was unfortunate timing there.
We should see a transition to light rain in around 10 minutes' time.
Oh, that's different than the other forecast. Up to P7. I do have enough fuel for basically exactly one more lap. I don't feel too comfortable with the time as of now. So I might try and go for it. And just run the thing out of fuel to the end. We are up in Sector 1. Sector 1 seems to be where I am strongest. You know, the sector with the straightaway, really making me buy into my own theory that they might experience some setup changes beyond Park Gourmet. I would be curious how all of that works. The AI cars even really have setups per se. Oh, we ran out early. The fuel calc was wrong. Oh, that sucks. That sucks. Well, that will probably do it for qualifying today. Unless nobody improves, which I highly doubt. Oh, buddy, we did it. I don't know how. I really don't know how, but we managed to squeak through in 10th place. We'll see if it dries up in Q3 at all. If not, I did feel like I was getting a little bit better with it. I feel like I was improving in the rain. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to eat. I don't know if I'll be able to eat Magnuson. I don't know if I'll be able to beat Magnuson. Light rain towards the end of the session, actually. It is looking like it is going to start to dry up. So I guess I'm going to sit here and watch the weather.
Intermediate tyres are your best bet in the current conditions.
I've waited to the very end of the session. They just started to recommend dries. I think I have enough time for 2 laps, but it might just be 1. The track is just now starting to dry out. So now I have to try and mentally switch over to to driving the place in the dry, so that's going to be interesting. Alright, looks like it's going to be one and done for us, but we're starting with only 25 seconds left on the clock, so we should be one of the last cars on track, which is good. One nice thing is that from going to rain to dry, the car's going to feel fantastic to me, so maybe that'll give me some confidence in my run here. There's a purple sector 1, but that's been pretty much the standard for us. Sector 2 where I really struggle, and then in that last set of turns. Let it use curve there, just let it use it. Slide it all around. It's a good sector 2. Can we not lose a lot of time in sector 3 is the question. Felt pretty good.
Fantastic. You've got pole.
Hell yeah! Oh, I'm sorry, I was excited.
The grid is all set then for the race tomorrow. But before we go, let's quickly remind ourselves of our top 3, who are Red, Ricciardo, and...
Alright, here it is. Does it get decided here? Not quite. And somehow, I guess because of Q1 times? Yeah, because of Q1 times. We actually lost a point to Magnussen there. However, Magnussen's going to be starting 10th in this race, and we're going to be starting 1st. So it's going to come down to the race. Okay. Let's do that.
The air may be thin here in Mexico City. The atmosphere is anything but. The crowd have been chanting and singing, not just this afternoon, but throughout the entire weekend. There's a great love for Formula One here, and no small amount of expectation. Let's hope today's Grand Prix can meet it. Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Red lines up on pole position, and starting alongside in P2 is Sebastian Vettel. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Hamilton, Kimi Raikkonen, and Leclerc, Hülkenberg, Magnussen, Sainz, and Marcus Ericsson. Ricciardo, they've taken a grid penalty. Perez, Esteban Ocon, and Hartley, Sirotkin, Gasly, Stoffel Van Dorn, and Lance Stroll, Alonso, and Max Verstappen completes the grid.
With your podium last race, the team were hoping for more of the same, but with yesterday's qualifying performance, it could be tough. Good luck.
But I'm on the pole. I think they played the wrong message there. Great job, Jeff. Alright, so we're starting from pole. We have a hyper ultra strategy, which is interesting and welcome to me. I like to be on the soft tires, especially on a track like this. So I'm going to stick with what they said there. I'm worried that people are going to one-stop this race. I seem to recall that from last season. I feel like I need to be on the good tire for this race, so I'm going to stick with the standard, even if it does mean that I have to race pretty hard. Okay. We got a lot of work to do here. Let's try to get it done. Getting a good, clean start and getting away will be important. Long lights. One of the effects of this track is that turn 1 is so far away. The draft will really suck everybody together by the time we get down here. Keeping wide to stay off of the wing of Vettel. Seems like Magnussen had a heck of a start. He seems to be way ahead of where he was. Delo's behind us. Seems like it was quick incident. Now, if I fear that other teams are going to be one-stopping, especially looking at Hamilton back there, I really need to do whatever I can to build as much of a gap here on this first set of tires as I can. Especially need to try and clear Vettel's DRS by the time we get to lap 3. Pretty good gap, second to third. So we got, yeah, nice enough to fifth. That's tough for us in our teammate battle. I'm worried it's going to draw. If I don't score enough points, I think it's going to draw, which I guess isn't. It isn't a loss. But I wanted to win. My car is not great in these slow sectors or those slow turns. That's kind of okay because they're not turns that I consider to be passing turns here. It gets really good grip through these high-speed turns though, and I think that gives me enough of a gap to stay away from attacks here. That turn's real tricky. I don't know if we hit the pylon or if we just phased through it. I think we just phased through it.
Race officials have enabled DRS. DRS is now available.
Now, I've not done what I wanted to do, which was clear Seb's DRS range, but I think we're still running a reasonable pace, and we're really leaving the pack, the two of us are. Very close through here. I just don't know where his passing opportunity would be in that section. And unless I completely balls up this section, which I almost tried to do right there, I'm almost always run away from him through those S's. They don't run those curves nearly aggressive enough. That was one of the things when I was really struggling with this course. Well, apparently I did hit the pylon because it's gone. Yeah, I was really struggling with this place. I went and watched some real F1 footage, and the line that the AI run and the line that they encourage you to run here
Fastest lap of the race so far.
is really, really far off from the actual ideal line around the place. That's one of those things I would really... I guess I place the blame on testers, like beta testers, or maybe not even that.
Target is +1. Faster engine mode not available.
But their ability to listen to people. I don't want to blame testers because I know how that goes. I've been a beta tester for games before. I've been a beta tester on projects, and sometimes the developers just get so blind to listening to feedback that they wouldn't even benefit from people testing things anymore. On the developer side, I'm sure it's annoying. You're working so hard on something, and then you get somebody that brings up what seems like such a nuanced complaint, like, hey, you know the racing line around this one track, it doesn't really match real life. Okay, yeah, but does it technically work? Yeah. Alright, well, then I'm leaving it. That's how I could foresee that conversation going. And I totally understand why that happens. But as a nerdy user, it bothers me. And it's details like that where a product like iRacing really shines and really makes me look forward to iRacing including AI in the future, because I feel like what they're going to do with AI might not be as showy, but I bet you it's going to be a lot more realistic. Having recently just started doing iRacing again, I was definitely reminded of the depth of detail, or the depth of detail that matters to a driver versus the depth of detail that matters to a fan.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
Why? That's just gonna get me in traffic. I don't want that. We're almost driving away from Vettel here. He's certainly gone out of his DRS range. But yeah, when Codemasters adds detail to the Formula 1 games, they're adding detail that I guess it better emulates the entertainment aspect of Formula 1. You know, they're trying to make the game match how the sport appears to be on TV. That's something that commonly happens here, is you lose the rear tires and they want to step out into the S's. I'm going to not freak out about it and just slightly adjust my driving line. What's this thing?
Let's use some of this energy. Increase the ERS deployment.
Oh right, yeah. The way they add detail to this, they want the game to feel like you're playing through what you see on TV.
The car behind us is lapping faster than us.
Oh, shut up, Jeff.
1 second per lap.
I obviously had a moment there that lap. Just because I wouldn't listen to your advice. And I'm not saying it's wrong that they do that. That's just the product they look to make. Obviously, I've gotten enjoyment out of it. I enjoy the fact that it does kind of feel like I'm playing through what I watch on TV. Instead of where iRacing, you know, they want you to experience what it's like to actually be behind the wheel. So they add detail into things that affect that. The cloud cover update to iRacing is something that is so small and so nuanced that I think it's hard for people to even be excited about that. But to me, that's fascinating, because that's something that in the real world
The pit window, you'll be on the ultra softs.
really does affect your driving lap to lap. The way the lighting changes the shadows, and the way the sun beating down on the track changes the way the car drives lap to lap. That's nerdy detail that probably wouldn't be appreciated in a game like this. So instead they add an interview process after the race. Which, I'll be honest, I thought the interview process was cool. I thought that was something that it was a neat addition, because it's really something that real F1 drivers have to deal with, and it is, again, one of those aspects that we see when we watch it on TV. How the drivers handle themselves to the media. And it has an effect on their career. Unfortunately, as with everything they do, they just failed to add depth to it. They failed to make it play for more than one season. By the time I was done with season 1 of this, I was done with those interviews. I had seen every question, I had seen every answer, and I had heard every response. So there was no value in those anymore. And the same goes for the practice programs. They get so repetitive as well. I understand practice is practice.
Gap behind it. 2 seconds.
And that's part of the rigors of being a Formula One driver. It's not all glamour. A lot of what you do as a Formula One driver is really boring. They spend thousands of hours a season, you know, in simulators just doing lap after lap. But I don't know if that's the that's the image we need to portray. Again, it's just they in my opinion don't really intend you to. I almost hit the wall there. They don't really intend for you to actually play this game for more than one season.
This lap. Give us the
Maybe
best
2.
lap you can.
Which is a shame. I wish that wasn't the case. Boy, I've been real chatty. Is this what happens when I'm leading a race? It's been so long since I've actually led from the start. I was feeling so mopey at the beginning of this too. It's rainy. It's been a hell of a week. Perhaps this is the apex. Maybe this is where things are turning around. I hope that's the case for the Australian Grand Prix this weekend too. It's been shaping up at this point of recording. So far we've only seen up to FP2, but it really is already looking procedural. It's looking like
this lap, please.
it's already looking like another season of Mercedes domination and disappointment from their back. But maybe there's still change to happen. Maybe it'll be an amazing race. Ba-boom! Alright, so Magnussen's not pitting yet. I think Vettel was the first to pit. I'm real glad I didn't pit on 7. That would have been ugly. Comes Ferrari. Hopefully we get out in front of him.
Exit now.
Seems like the field's pretty broken up. We should be okay.
Only 1 stop to go. 1 stop left in this strategy.
That feels alright. Is this the race last season where Bottas outraced us on pit exit? Like he got a higher top speed on the straightaway than us after leaving the pits? I seem to recall that happening. A little bit less grip on these tires. Certainly been a gloomy race so far, very cloudy. Let's hope that Ocon's going to be pitting here. I'm not going to push the issue. Magnussen's just pitting now, so yeah, he is not on the ideal pit strategy here by any means.
Kevin is in the pits.
We're gonna get
trailing our
DRS.
teammate by 12.0 seconds. The
Not
gap to go
anymore.
behind is 2.2 seconds.
Forgot how much speed I was going to have going into turn 1 there. Thanks to DRS. We're getting here also. Chop that curb. Who needs it? I'm really surprised by the race pace. I honestly, obviously did expect to be looking at pole position, but I really also didn't expect to have so much race pace either. once again pinned behind a car that hasn't pit yet, is helping Vettel out, but I will get DRS on the front straightaway to help even that out. A DRS and a draft, actually. This will be a very high top speed. Treat turn one with enough respect. And get out of here. And these might be cars that are one-stopping. That is the other bit of the agenda. So I may have to try and run down those Mercedes throughout this run. Because we have another stop to do, and as do they. Seems like I should be able to do that, though. I'm going to be running a lot quicker than they are right now. Until they pit. And then we should be able to run a lot faster than them in the last stint. Nice lap. I think this is almost the exact same situation that ended up having a drag race Photos there last season. If I recall. Thought maybe I was close enough there. This man up ahead of us here is certainly one of the biggest talking points of real F1 this season. Taking such a big risk, moving from the number 3 team in Formula 1 down to the number 5 team, number 4 team. Just hoping to get away from the I guess the Red Bull family, the Red Bull mantra. Just seems like he was not fitting in. He was not fitting in with the way that team wants to run.
Gap to teammate behind is 6.7 seconds.
Certainly a lot of talk to do with the F1 documentary that's been on Netflix, I believe. I personally have not watched it. It does not look like the kind of thing I would enjoy. I hate docudramas, as that is. But a lot of negativity from existing Formula One fans about it, because it is a docudrama. You know, they, rather than showing the exciting side of Formula One and the truth, they try to dig for something that maybe isn't there. It seems as though they went above and beyond to villainize Verstappen. Again, I have not seen it, so I don't really have the ability to make that claim, but I could see them doing that. Because it's more probably
Battery charge is high. Let's increase ERS deployment to up the pace. The
more
distance
interesting.
to the leader is
Shut up, Jeff.
3.8 seconds.
More interesting to those that aren't already Formula One fans. Those are things that
Great pass.
grip people that maybe haven't come to grips with the sport yet. Just like I hadn't come to grips with that turn. Seems like we should be able to get around Hamilton before that pit stop sequence even happens. And if that happens, then their one-stop strategy is done. Ain't gonna work. hard as this place is on tires, or I guess because we run such a soft compound, I really would question the effectiveness of that strategy. First car out, Hamilton pits now. As we set the fast lap.
Keep this up.
Why is it making DRS there? Wonder why that is. Almost pulled the bow toss there. Put the tire in the dirt to spin it around.
Yellow flag.
Seems like a perfectly safe location.
Okay, clear. A new strategy is available on the MFT.
The existing strategy has been working so well for us, I don't see any reason to go away from it. Vettel's who are really racing. And we have ages on him. I suppose the thought is that Hamilton could be outlapping us, having just bolted new tires. I don't think my tires have fallen off enough yet that he's going to be able to do that. Magnussen in third. If he podiums, I believe that seals the deal for us. It would be a draw. Which is cool. I mean, I'm happy to see that we've done well as a team. Obviously, we already won the manufacturer championship. So it's not as if I'm outperforming where our team should be overall. That feels good. It's been fun. I'm surprised it happened as quick as it did. I expected to maybe take 3 seasons before we got this team to the top, but so it was.
The gap behind us is 6.3 seconds.
It always feels like a long race. I realize it's a short lap, but it's a very intense lap. Well, he might get second here. He's pushing for it. Certainly would be interesting to see what Haas would do without me at this point. You know, would Magnussen and Grosjean fight for a title? I don't know. My guess is they would start really strong and then the development would trail off. It seems like the way they've got this set up, no matter what team you choose, your development is going to outpace your rivals, which makes sense. Otherwise, it's not going to be very fun. If you choose McLaren and you can never get that team to improve, yeah, that's not going to be very fun. If it were to work a little bit more like real life, it'd be a lot more RNG based. You know, every season there'd be a little bit of a shake-up as to who the top team might be, or if your team's going to move ahead or move behind. The fact that they just carry over existing car development season to season. A bit of a bummer, and a bit of what I was talking about before, how they don't seem to really consider the fact that you might play the career for a long time.
Some information on Vettel. They've got a serious car issue. It looks like they're retiring.
Well, so much for that fight behind us. And that pretty much gives Magnussen
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the ultra softs.
every option to podium today. We'll just have to see. How that shakes up the rivalry stuff. I've hinted at it, but I definitely will say I'm going to commit myself to a third season here in this game. Probably, again, shake up the format a little. Look, Vettel. Probably won't do 2 races a week. That's been a little bit more of a vigorous and ambitious plan than I expected it to be.
Green flag.
But it did line up quite well, where doing the compressed season pretty much had us doing an entire season during the real F1 off-season. So hopefully it kept the Formula One fans here entertained through the off-season. Probably be a little silly to try to compete with real F1 2 times a weekend anyway, so
We're leading our teammate by 8.4 seconds.
I'm trying to figure out something interesting. Most importantly, gotta keep myself entertained too. Gotta keep myself enjoying it. I've certainly enjoyed the season despite our issues. That's one of those things that separates me from successful video creators. Is I always focus on making content that I enjoy making, rather than focusing on what's hot. It's a major detriment. But at least I truly do enjoy making the videos I make. Alright, Van Doren, what are you gonna do?
In this lap, push now.
He's pulling off to the right. Thank you. Oh,
Kevin is
Magnussen's
in for his stop.
going for the undercut. Interesting. Now, the team offered me an ability to do that. I would have had the ability to undercut him. I didn't take that. I can't be mad at the team for this, as I now have a moment there. That's gonna hurt our in-lap. We did luckily have a nice double dip of DRS.
Box.
Envelope, envelope, envelope! Now we had a really sizable lead over him, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. I'm curious where we will be versus, like, a Mercedes of Hamilton. Because Magnussen did come out behind him. And there is Hamilton. Here we go.
Go now.
This might be exactly the opposite of what we did last season. I'm going to be racing Hamilton on the exit here.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit.
There he is.
We'll receive a penalty for dangerous dangerous driving if you cross over into
Oh,
the track.
we're well ahead of them though. So no issues there. He may approach our DRS range here, but once our tires come up, they're going to be way better than his super softs. Magnussen's already gotten around Bottas, so he's up to third. Magnussen went for supers. That's unusual. I guess he didn't have another set of ultras. Well, we should easily cover him now then. Yeah, I have to guess that he used too many sets in qualifying. Even though we had a rainy Q2 and most of Q3, somehow he's ended up with not enough sets, or just thought the supers would be better to the end. I don't know. I'm of course cheering
Okay, the
for
gap
somebody
behind
else.
is 2.7 seconds.
I don't know if that's standing right behind him or what, but if we could get him off the podium, I'd feel a lot better about perhaps winning that rivalry challenge. Don't think there's any real chance of that. Genuinely surprised by this race. This was one that I circled as not a strong point for sure. One that I needed to work on to have done this well in the race. I am very, very surprised. I really think a lot of that comes down to qualifying on the pole. Clean getaway at the start.
Gap to teammate behind is 9.4 seconds.
We are in pretty darn good shape here. Pretty much take it easy. We done Mercedes'd it. So a lot of the talk has been about how much Mercedes were sandbagging and testing, and how Ferrari doesn't sandbag, and if they should. And to me, that's just part of it. As much as it annoys me because I don't personally like the Mercedes team, or especially more accurately, I don't like their number one driver. It just makes sense. There's no BOP in F1 like there is in, say, IMSA. So there's no cheating advantage by not showing all your cards in testing. It's a problem in like IMSA because they use testing to get a basis of, you know, how they should balance your car versus everybody else's. It's not the case in Formula One. So if you know you're good, and they know they're good, there's no reason to really show just how much pace you have. Versus a team like Ferrari or Red Bull, there's no reason for them not to show what they have because they need to see what they have. Like, they need to see what they can get out of it. And if they're even in the ballpark. But just all you wait. All you wait. Once once Williams dumps out the truckload of sand from their car, it's gonna be a different story. Even if the fight up front isn't good this year, there will still be some interest in how Alpha Sauber fares, especially with Kimi in the car. Interesting to see how the Renault risk plays out for Danny Rick, and how he fares against, say, Verstappen, or why can't I remember his teammate's name? Kvyat, is it? No, Kvyat's the one in the Toro Rosso. Having a mental block. But either way, how he fares against the Red Bulls, if he can outscore a Red Bull, then I think that will be a personal victory for him. So far, the speeds at Australia have not really shown that to be the case, but it's only Australia. And Honda being reliable enough in the Red Bulls to have pace even matter will be a point of contention as well. It really would be nice to see Honda do well with Red Bull. Kind of recover the lost reputation there, you know? I really credit them a lot for sticking with it. When they had so many issues with McLaren, I thought they were just going to be done. You know, they needed to put their tail between their legs and just leave. But they stuck with it. They wanted to prove that they had what it took. It just wasn't the right team. Seems like it might have been the case. They did fairly well with Toro Rosso last year, and obviously that was a test for Red Bull this season.
By 14.4 seconds.
Yeah, I think having these tires for the end of the race was a good move for us. It's turned our race into a podcast. Did they lap you once? How is this happening again? Taking it very easy through here. Yep, because I was worried he was going to do something crazy like that. The awkward dive out of the way. Bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. You know, it would be cool to kind of increase the career longevity if you could do like customized schedules, or just like a schedule randomization. Each season the tracks move around a little bit, or maybe you even sync back in some of the older F1 tracks. I don't know. I'm sure they still have the models for like Korea and Valencia, was it? I believe. I think of other Malaysia, Nürburgring. Be an interesting way to lengthen out the career a bit. I'm sure trademarking and general FOM-ness is what probably keeps them from doing that, but Then again, they have you drive old cars now in the career. I don't show it because it's incredibly boring. Not the driving of the old cars, just the challenges they set up in them.
We have 5 laps of fuel remaining.
So they already do some stuff that's a little off reality. A career that, shifted around season to season a little bit. Seems like it wouldn't be too much out of the realm, out of the scope of that.
Our gap behind is 17.3 seconds.
I am in total cruise control now. 17 seconds. This has been one of the most dominant races we've had all season. In a race that I was so not confident about. I was ready to just put my head in my hands in Q2. That was the drive of the weekend, I think. Is not giving up in Q2 in the light rain. I just drove my heart out to get it into 10th place. Of course, the thing that I want, sorry to change subjects again, the thing that I want is to be able to progress from car to car. Since they've had the F1 game for a decade, at least give me a few years. Release F1 2020, say, and have the choice between starting your career in 2020 and starting your career in, say, 2015, and then working your way up to 2020. And then you could throw in some of those season-to-season changes, because every car is going to change every year. Think of where Red Bull was in 2015 versus where they are in, might be in 2020. There's some options in it. And that would certainly make the contracts between season to season more interesting as well. We have word that Ferrari made big strides this year. Maybe you want to sign with them instead of Mercedes. I don't know, it just seems like it'd be way more interesting of a career. If it comes down to like livery and trademarking the brands on the cars, I don't care about any of that. I don't care if the cars have to have the 2020 livery all the way through the 5 years. The only part of that that's interesting to me is how the cars change year to year. And the rules change year to year. A lot of front wing loss in 2019. So you'd have to adjust. Your setups aren't going to just translate straight over, for sure. I've barely touched the setups this season. If I went and did a third season, I'd never have to touch a setup. Most likely. Starting to drive way too sloppily. Binning this thing now would be a major disappointment. So let's not do that. We're still gapping them though. That's the sad part. Sad for them, not for us. Well, these tires have actually popped off the car. They've left us. I don't even think the wear's that bad, right? 31? That's nothing. I don't know why it's gotten so oversteery all of a sudden. They have such a lead that there's no reason for me to even attempt to push it. That might be why it's popped to the oversteer so bad, is that I'm not pushing the car enough and it's not making enough downforce in the turns. Very much so a possibility.
We've pretty much burned off our excess fuel. We'll be back on target soon. Don't wait too long to
I
turn
guess
the
I may have been
engine
enriched. That might have had something to do with it. Not put too much power through those rear wheels. And here we go.
This is your final lap of the race.
One last cruiser. Oh my gosh. As awful as that lap was, we still capped Hamilton. It looks as though it's going to be a Haas 1-2 today.
Gap to teammate behind is 15.8 seconds.
Oh, he did close in a little bit. Considering I was 2 seconds slower that lap. It'll be interesting to see how the rivalry plays out. I don't think there was really anything terribly worth watching in the replay, so just watch a little bit of that. Enough to get a thumbnail, and then we'll go
Less than a lap of fuel now.
see what the
Tank is
rivalry
empty.
stuff is. Alright, well these tires are certainly no longer pleased. Get rid of that last pylon. Take the checkered flag. And a job well done.
Wonderful drive. You're now the driver's world champion. The team
Oh.
want to say thanks for a brilliant job this season.
I kind
There
of
were questions
forgot
at
all
the
about
start
that.
of the season as to whether this package could really go all the way. But there's no question anymore. What a special year it's been. And here they are now. The new Formula One.
Well, now I don't need to
World
replay
Drivers'
it all.
Champion.
Got my thumbnail right there.
A great win then for the Haas team today.
We'll just skip his explanation as to why. Because it's never that interesting. Hi. Wait, are you Jeff or Chris? I don't remember. Whoa, what is going on with the guy on the left there? That was cute. That was really
And
cute.
now let's take a look at the drivers' standings. Well, that result also seals the World Drivers' title. Congratulations to our winner after an incredible season.
Our
and now
winner.
I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
My driver of the day was Max Verstappen. He did a cracking job moving through the field, just highlighting why he's so highly rated in the paddock.
It may already be wrapped up, but let's look at the constructors' standings. Another team that will be satisfied with this Grand Prix is Sauber, whose good result moves them further up the championship. Well, what a weekend.
Toro Rosso
that has
Williams
been.
gonna score any
Please
points
join
this
us
season?
next time for another thrilling installment of this Formula One season.
Alright, here we go. Are we tied with the rivalry, or are we winning it? Or did we lose it somehow? I don't know how we would. Think we tie? We won because we got 31 and he got 30. Yeah! Because we got the fastest lap. Fastest lap and position over Magnussen, and we win our 7th rivalry versus our teammates. That was a close one.